Oh, is that King Graveth? Is that King Graveth himself? He seems to be wanting to eliminate me, but I think he is going to be eliminated first. Hello Reformers, and welcome back to Mount and Blade Warband and the native edition of the game. Now, I know it's been a while since the previous episode was uploaded, but as is the case with many things, you know, it just sometimes slips through the cracks, and indeed this one did. So, as you could see, we still have exactly the same army because I've just loaded up the save, basically, and we still have King Barney here, and he's very, very ready to slaughter and do all kinds of wonderful things. And we're going to be besieging Grunwald Castle, because there's only 170 in there, and we have all of our vassals. I am actually out of food, apparently, as well, so that is not good, is it? That is not good at all. So we're going to have to retreat after this and see if we can find a good way to reimburse and restock our supplies. Now, do bear in mind that I was leveling up my archery proficiency and indeed my power draw skill before the series went on hiatus, I suppose you could say. And, well, hopefully we're gonna start doing a reasonably good job at using the bow, because I seem to remember that we actually did start getting a couple of headshots, but we are against Rodok sharpshooters, and that kind of makes me wince a little bit because these guys are fantastic at what they do. They are very good. And I happen to be okay as well. I'm actually getting a couple of... Oh, look at that. There we go. Nice headshot right there from Barney. Maybe I can get a little bit more here. Maybe. Yeah, sneak. Yeah. Oh, no. I was hoping that I could maybe shoot him as he... Oh, he's moving. He's moving. How dare you? Yeah, you're not permitted to move, Rodok sharpshooter. Yes, I actually thought he might be a different crossbowman. But anyway, let's move up here and see if I can sway the battle in our favor just a little bit. If I'm able to murder some of the sharpshooters that are currently shooting at us. You could see here that the sharpshooters are the main reason why we're having any issues at all at the moment. And I do need to... No, get out of my way, friendly troop. Yes, there we go. Oh, well, didn't necessarily want to do that, but it's okay, because we're still able to shoot a couple of people from down here, and we're able to take him out just a little bit. I should really... that was bad timing on my part. I was hopeful that I'd be able to get him as he bent down, because that is usually the time when crossbowmen are the most weak, and if you can time it properly, then you're going to get that headshot almost 100% of the time. But obviously, at the moment, I'm a little bit out of practice with a bow, and, well, we're still getting some of the headshots, and it seems like we may have eliminated... Oh, really? We've lost our first wave of troops that quickly? Oh, that's not very good. But yes, it seems like we have eliminated most of the sharpshooters. Let's try and take that guy out. Oh, that was bad timing as well. There we go. He was very, very low in HP, so we should have been able to take him out. And I'm being shot from somewhere. I think it's that one over there. Yep, it's probably that one over there. Couldn't see him, and that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? That is a bit of an issue, because now we have to retreat. But it's okay. It is okay, because we've eliminated a whole bunch of their sharpshooters. So let's just take a look here. They have 19 sharpshooters left, and that is fantastic, because before they had very many. Yes, very many indeed. Ah, yes, Bardak Castle. Bardak Castle also was taken by the Rodoks. I think someone either defected. I don't think anyone defected, so I think it is literally just someone taking it. And we're gonna see if anyone needs leveling up. No one needs leveling up? Ah, I have a huge amount of Saranid Master Archers. Yes, that's probably not the best thing to go for in this situation, but, well, my past self was obviously a little bit hard done by what I was able to gather at a moment's notice to be able to take some of these things in some shock assaults, because that's literally what I want to try and do. I want to shock the Rodoks into reacting into kind of a defensive position rather than an offensive position. I do not want them to continue taking things in terms of Bardak Castle or anything else that is a little bit, shall we say, a little bit lacking, shall we say. Yes, a little bit lacking in defense, because I think my past self was a bit lazy in getting the garrisons up, but obviously if you have enough territory, you should be able to take more fiefs than the AI is actually able to capture. And if they are able to capture something, then you can very easily go back to that territory and take it back pretty quickly, because they usually don't garrison a huge amount of defenders. So let's see if I can actually do something here. Maybe I'll be able to... Okay, could you not target me? That would be great, thanks. That would be really great. Okay, come on. Take him out. Yeah, oh, almost. He's almost dead. Yeah, there we go. That's what we like. Like to get a couple more headshots if at all possible. There we are. And there's a... Oh, I was about to say there's another one, but no, he moved out the way just in time. What a scoundrel. What a scoundrel he is. Okay, well, at least we can try and take out a couple of these guys. I think these guys are probably the most dangerous because they seem to have really good positions when it comes to our units being able to fire back. That seems to be the case. Now, let's see if I can just do a little bit of extra something here and maybe take out these guys as well. I only have 8 arrows remaining, which is not great, so I'm going to have to make them count and take out as many sharpshooters, or at least as many crossbowmen as possible. Not even sharpshooters needing to be killed, even though they should really be killed as quickly as possible. But yeah, there we go. Ah, that's it. That's all I can do. That is all I can do. Okay, so it seems like what I'm going to have to do now is either look for arrows on the ground here, which I'm not a big fan of doing, or... I don't think there are actually any people that use arrows here at the moment, but... Or what I can do is either retreat yet again, or I can just wait. That is the main problem with native, of course. There is no battle continuation, and if I were to create another native-based map series, I'd probably select something with a little bit of a battle continuation camera, something like Diplomacy or Flourish Expanded or something along those lines, even though Flourish Expanded does change the gameplay a little bit. It does have extra different kinds of units and adds a whole bunch of different submods to the game, which in my opinion does enhance the experience. But if you want the classic style of playing native, then I'd highly recommend just playing native and just dealing with no battle continuation. But then you're going to have to do things like this, which are a bit irritating, I gotta say. They are a bit irritating, but that's just how it has to be, I suppose. I'm actually just going to go up here, and maybe I can use these guys. Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of arrows here, actually, which I wouldn't mind actually taking, but, oh well. Seems like I might get a couple of kills like this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's do this. I am going to get killed, I think. I am going to get killed, because I'm going to get shot from the side. But I might be able to kill a bunch of these guys at least first, and maybe move them away. Ah, there you go. So if I had battle continuation, it actually would have made a huge difference, because I actually did get a breach in the enemy defenses, and that is precisely the reason why you do that kind of thing. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm actually very quickly going to go to Uxkhal and buy some food, and then I'll come back to Grunwalder Castle. We will be taking this castle today. And with that, with our return to Grunwalder Castle, I just noticed that one of our prisoners managed to escape, so obviously that is not great. And we did have a ransom, by the way, and I did actually select to accept that ransom, but I probably shouldn't have done that. Alright, so shields up to defend us from the obligatory crossbows. But this time seems a lot better in terms of survivability, because previous times, well, people like Lord Urumuda probably would have been eliminated a lot sooner because of the wonderful, wonderful presence of these Rollock sharpshooters. There's still only 4 in here in the garrison because of our wonderful assassinating of these units, and hopefully I'll be able to kill that one. Yeah, there we go. And maybe I'll be able to kill these as well. Now, all we need to deal with here, from here on out, is the huge amount of Rodok sergeants. Sorry for shooting you in the face, whoever that is. And there we go. King Barney has achieved his goal of eliminating the last remaining Rodok sharpshooter. And now this is going to be a bit of a clean sweep this should be a lot easier than what we've been facing so far, because there's no one shooting us in the back, and that's usually going to be a bit detrimental to your health, isn't it? Yes, very much so. So let's go into the garrison here and try and get onto the battlements. I'm going to need someone up there that inspires fear in the opponent. Someone that is going to get them to move away from their current situation and give a bit of leeway so that there's a hole in the defenses and we'll be able to get in there as soon as possible. I'm a bit worried about being pushed off the edge here. These Rodok Sergeants are very good at what they do. So if I'm able to do that, then this is obviously going to be a pretty decisive victory here, but the Rodoks in general are very annoying. They are very, very good at defense, and even at offense, but in general their defense is so much better than any other faction in my opinion, maybe except the Nords. If they have a huge amount of Huskarls in their army or something like that, then yeah, obviously they're gonna be very, very tough. But as it stands, the Rodoks are really good with their wonderful crossbowmen, and you may say, and people may say that they're not exactly great with their spearmen, but if they have Rodok Sergeants who usually don't use polearms in this kind of situation, they're going to be using sword and shield. And yeah, if you have a bunch of Rodok Sergeants, you basically have all the infantry you need. Even though they're not exactly great in general, they have really good armor, and they're just meant to stall you, you know? So when you're fighting them, you just like, can you please die? Can you please die? And by this time, you're getting shot by a huge amount of different Rodok crossbowmen. And even the regular Rodok trained crossbowmen and the regular crossbowmen, even then, they are enough to do pretty massive damage to you. And that is going to enable them to defend themselves very easily. And there we go, I actually finally got taken out. We actually did inflict a pretty decent amount of damage right there, and you can see that 83 of the enemy was taken out. Finally we were able to do something like that, and we still have 88 of them remaining, because apparently they reinforced themselves when I left. Oh well. As the moon soars in the sky over Grunwalder Castle, we have one final push to make. And this is kind of the reason why I'm going to start to bring this topic into discussion, because on the one hand, if you're flying solo and you have some pretty high tier units, like Barney sometimes has. So let's say I have, I don't know, 30 Nord Huskarls, 20 Swadian Knights, and then a couple of Vajir Marksmen, or something along those lines. Let's say we have a very high tier army, and we decide to go and besiege something that has 200 units. Now, if we take that particular fight, let's say we take Grunwalder Castle with that particular force, we're going to only have very high tier units helping us, and that is going to mean that we'll be able to breach their defenses a lot quicker, and we'll be able to support each other a lot better and be, just in general, much more optimized in our siege-taking abilities. And that's the thing. When, on the other hand, you decide to run a campaign and call your vassals to help you out, that's sometimes not the greatest thing to do, because then you have this situation, and you have... Wow, are you serious? This one guy has dealt that much damage to me. But yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Those Rodok Sergeants can deal significant damage if you allow them to. And as I was saying, basically, if you allow your vassals to come and help you, it's great to have the additional numbers. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to have additional numbers. But, as you can no doubt see, the units that they send into these battles, they're just not very good, you know? They're just not very good. Most of them are... What? What is actually happening here? Did you see that? I literally just killed... What was it? 50? Didn't I just kill 50? And in the previous... Okay, I have no idea what was going on with that. Okay, but yeah, you can see here, Lord Urumuda only has 11 Kurjit Lancers. And we have Urube, who actually does have a pretty high tier army, but they are Kurjit units. 26 Kurjit Lancers, 46 veteran horse archers. So he's going to be insane in a field battle, but not so great in a siege like we need him for here. And you can see Lord Murchild. He only has 1 Swadian knight. However, he does have 20 Swadian man-at-arms, but they are not going to be the heaviest units ever. And of course, we do have the problematic situation in the north here, where the Nords haven't actually been attacked at all. And I think it would probably be a good idea if we just navigate over to our faction relations here. Considering we are at war with the Nords, I think it's probably going to be a good idea to actually attack them a little bit, because I previously thought that the Swadians, that the Rodoks would be a pretty easy target. And I know that that's kind of foolhardy, because in the grand scheme of things, the Rodoks are probably one of the best when it comes to defense, as I've stated before, the reasons for that. And, well, I think maybe the Nords might be a little bit easier, because they only have, well, they do have Nord archers. Now, these Nord archers, they are widely considered by almost everyone to be the worst when it comes to ranged combat. But there are some good points about the Nord archers, and that would be, of course, being able to actually hold your own in melee combat. They are absolutely fantastic in melee. They can hold their own with the greatest... Well, they're better than every other archer in melee, maybe with the exception of the Rodok crossbowmen, because they of course do start with sword and shield, whereas the Nord archers, they are primarily geared for offense. So if you're going melee against melee, they're probably gonna win, but it really depends obviously on what actually happens in the fight, because maybe they're just going to get a couple more hits in, because the Nords obviously are using a big two-handed axe, and that usually indicates that they're going to be taking a little bit longer to swing and all that sort of thing. But that's the thing that you got to be a bit wary of, because if you charge the battlements and you're supremely confident in being able to eliminate their archers, then you might find that you get a bit surprised, because the Nord archers can hold their own very well against even the player character, unless the player character is maybe me, because I haven't really spec'd for combat and I have 58 HP still, which is not necessarily the greatest thing to have. Technically you should really be aiming for about 70, but obviously that requires a lot more points to be distributed into combat skills instead of skills that improve your leadership abilities and personal management and all that sort of thing, because that's what I've done with Barney, this iteration of Barney at the very least. But yeah, usually I wouldn't say that anything more than 70 is necessarily worth it, but at the moment 58 I'm finding is a little bit low in HP, because I get hit, I don't know, 3 times with medium damage, and I'm already down to about 20% HP, and that's pretty awful. So yeah, if you are indeed playing along with this series, I'd highly recommend going for a little bit more in Iron Flesh, a little bit more in Strength, just making sure that you get to about 65 HP. That's probably the minimum I'd say, because it's kind of like a good threshold to be at, because you can see here I just took 9 damage and I'm already at about, what, 85% HP? That's not very good, to lose 15% HP in one hit. And now I'm going to lose even more because I slipped. Fantastic. Alright, so here we go. I cut away a little bit just to allow our forces just to try and like breach the enemy defenses a little bit, and it hasn't really paid off too well. As you can see here, I am being outmatched just because I am currently on the right side of the ladder instead of being on the left side. If I was on the left side, because obviously every character is right-handed, it would be a little bit easier for me to attack from this location. But yeah, the enemy being right-handed is obviously not helping, because they're able to attack around the environment. If I attack here, it just bounces off, no problem at all. I need to get much, much further along to be able to make good use of it. And yeah, I'm actually losing huge amounts of units. You can see here. I've literally lost 97 units just from, well, 66 enemies? Yeah, not working really well, is it? No, it's not working really well. And there's a reason for this. There's a reason for this, because all of these fellows are Rodok Sergeants. Every single one of them is a Rodok Sergeant. And they're quite blatantly insane. I think if we were facing 90 or however many they had Nord Huskarls, I'd just give up right now. Because, literally, they are going to be even better than the Rodok Sergeants. But you can see here that if I'm standing right here on the left of the ladder, I should have a little bit of an easier time of actually getting some damage in on these enemies. But I have to be very, very careful because, again, I do have a pretty low max HP, and as a result, I am taking a lot more damage than I would otherwise like. And so I'm going to have to kind of wait here a little bit and see what happens. Oh, or maybe not, or maybe just get eliminated. But yeah, it's kind of weird, right? It's kind of weird that we're still fighting away here, and yet there's... Yeah, look at that. They only have sergeants remaining. They only have sergeants remaining. This is probably going to be the last Rodok castle that I attempt to take, at least for the moment. And as you can see right here, I don't know whether you saw, but a while ago in the episode, Sungetcha Castle was taken by the Rodoks, and Lord Druli, one of our loyal vassals, has seen fit to take it back. So I'm very, very pleased with his actions here. Let's actually just take a look at where Sungetcha Castle is, because, well, I think it's... Where is it, actually? Is it... Where is it? I don't see it. That's kind of weird. Is it really on the outskirts of here, or... That's kind of weird. I mean, I thought Sungetcha Castle... There it is. Ah! Oh no, it was taken by the Vaegirs. Never mind. It was actually taken by the Vaegirs. We're also having a huge amount of problems with morale, mainly because I... Well, I'm unable to take the castle. That's literally the only reason. And let's actually just take a quick look here. Okay, they haven't regenerated. They haven't regenerated any of their forces, and my vassals are getting a little bit antsy, so we're going to have to take this now. Otherwise, they're probably going to leave me in the dust, and they're going to decide to go and do other things. So let's see if we're able to pull this off once and for all. But as I say, this is probably going to be the last castle that I decide to take, and we're going to go and maybe try and take a couple of the Nord fiefs, because that will enable us to hopefully see their defenses and kind of weigh up which faction is going to be worthwhile taking, or at least attempting to. Because right now, the Vaegirs, I'm not really wanting to fight those guys because they have supreme archers. They have the best archers, arguably, in Warband, and, well, they're going to run out of arrows really quickly. Unlike the Rodok sharpshooters, of course, but they are very, very damaging, and I'm a bit worried about them specifically. But everything else about the Vaegirs, I don't really have to worry about so much, because as far as I'm aware, their high-tier cavalry uses two-handed, so shouldn't have to worry too much about getting headshots on those guys. I could quite easily use my bow and arrow to weaken their initial front line, and their cavalry also has a similar thing where I think they use two-handed or lances or something along those lines at the most, so that shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, hopefully Rolf is going to get in there. Get in there, Rolf. You're right in front of me. Maybe get a couple of... Okay, never mind. He got one kill. He got one kill. That was good enough, apparently. That was good enough. Good job, Rolf. That's all he could do. That is all he could do. And yeah, it's actually kind of amusing, because every time I see one of my own units get to the top of the ladder here, they're actually able to get something done, whereas the remaining units that our vassals are sending in here, they're not really getting anything done. And that's a bit disappointing, I gotta say, because you kind of get your vassals to help you out for a very specific reason, you know, to try and take something, and yeah, it ends up being an absolute slaughter on one side, just literally because they are unable to do anything. And I mean, I don't know whether it's because I'm not really using the best weapon for a siege. I mean, this is really not the best weapon that I could potentially choose. I mean, I could choose a much longer weapon, which would enable me to maybe reach a little bit further. But on the other hand, it's then going to enable a little bit more problems in the way that I'm going to hit the environment all the time. So there are many, many issues with that. And I'm going to die from this. Oh, I didn't. Oh, amazing. Yeah, I was actually thinking to myself, yes, I'm going to die from that, so that's going to be awful. Yeah, anyway, you can see here that we literally have just been throwing ourselves against the walls for so long, and we've only killed 11 of them. Alright, so basically, I've been kind of sitting here watching our units just topple down from the ladder like idiots, and it's been 5 minutes. It's literally been 5 minutes, and you can see exactly what's happening here. 130 of our own units have been wounded, which is pretty awful. And yeah, they've only been wounded because I have such a high surgery skill, or someone does in my army at least, and otherwise we've only eliminated 17 of the enemies. And let me just tell you, that's frustrating. That is frustrating to see such an obvious gap of strength. And this is exactly what I say most of the time. Native does not do a good job of balancing sieges in the late game, because obviously the defender is meant to have some kind of advantage, right? Yeah, obviously. But not this much, and the offense would most likely bring more than one ladder. We've spoken about this many, many times before. One ladder, it's probably not going to work out too well, but that's how, that's how Tailworlds did it, which, gotta say, a bit of a disagreement on that personally, but, resources and thoughts at the time, I guess they just didn't think about it. Anyway, otherwise, if this was a siege tower, then this might actually make sense, because if this was a siege tower, that would make things a little bit easier, because the actual ladder or structure that you create is a lot wider and gives a lot more opportunity for more units to be next to each other, and so that would indeed help us out. However, we now have King Graveth breathing down our necks, which is not very good. So are we going to be attacking him? I mean, how many does he have? Don't run away now, fellows. Don't run away now. We are going to be taking Grunwalder Castle. Do not worry. Let's do this. Okay, so yeah, you go in there. Okay. Are you... Okay. Well, could you... Yeah, there we go. Okay, thank you. Finally. Yes, Lord Urubei was a little bit eager. Did you see that? He was a little bit eager there. He was like, let me run in there by myself and get no help whatsoever. Yes, that was a good idea. Anyway, I could make peace with them. Probably not going to do that because he's probably not going to say yes. And we're going to take him out with 699 units. Yes, we're actually going to see Lord Urubei come into his own as well, because Lord Urubei is an absolutely fantastic field battle commander. And, well, this is a nice change of pace, because I've gotten sick of seeing Grunwalder Castle. Yeah, really I have, because I've been looking at it a lot longer than you have, that's for sure. So we are hopefully going to be able to take it after this battle. But first, let us eliminate the scoundrel that is King Graveth from the map, and we'll see how we do here. Now, bear in mind that most of our units are once again pretty low tier, which is a bit of an issue. However, we have the benefit of variety, the variety and benefit of many benefiting things. I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah, we have a lot of variety in terms of our units, and we're able to hopefully utilize them to good effect. I really don't want to die here, so I'm going to be a little bit more cautious than I would normally be, which is not really great. I really don't want to be, because I'd like to be getting in there, getting stuck in, and eliminating as many enemy units as possible. And so that's why I'm going to do, like, kind of hit and runs here. I'm going to do hit and runs, and we're going to try and just hit them as we ride by. And that's literally all I'm going to be able to do, because if I don't do that, I'm going to get killed And that's not going to be a very good... It's not going to be a very good look, is it, Barney? For you to be down in the dirt once again, as he always seems to end up. And, oh, there you go. New enemies and new reinforcements have been granted at the exact same time. So that's pretty good. Oh, is that King Graveth? Is that King Graveth himself? He seems to be wanting to eliminate me, but I think he is going to be eliminated first. Yeah, there we go. That's what you get. Oh yes, Big G. That's his name now. Big G, or should we say Little G, because he's dead now. So there you go. But yeah, this is exactly what I mean, though. If you ever have the inkling to create any kind of horse archer or to join the Kurgits as a faction, they are going to be amazing for you in field battles. They really are. They are absolutely crazy in field battles, really, really powerful. And if you have, I don't know, let's say you have a maximum company size of 80, and if you have 50 lancers and 30 veteran horse archers, you're, I think, probably going to be almost unstoppable unless you have a whole army of these guys. Yeah, a whole army of these guys, the Rodoks, with their wonderful bardishes that I oh so enjoy using whenever I get my hands on one. They are very, very nice to use, but I don't really have an opportunity to use them as much as I'd like. But anyway, point is, if you ever have Kurgits, yeah, they're really good. They're really good when it comes to fighting in field battles. And I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised we're winning this, to be honest. I actually would think that we might have more difficulty winning here, but seems not. And it seems like I'm able to actually get a couple of kills as well. And we do have some units riding in here. Our reinforcements are, of course, riding in here. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm literally going to tell our forces to now come back. We are getting a little bit too overzealous. We are getting overconfident. And that is not a good idea. So the more that we're able to bolster our lines and the better our ratio, then this battle is done. This battle is in the bag, so to speak. And hopefully that is going to happen here. So that's the reason why I'm pulling back, so that we can then charge once again. Do want to be a bit careful of those spearmen, though. Thank you very much. And yes, hopefully we'll be able to then receive more reinforcements and hopefully get them quicker. Oh no, never mind. It seems like we're not going to be receiving reinforcements, because this is the last reinforcement wave for King Graveth himself, or Little G in this case. And yeah, there you go. 3 enemies remain. And that's it. That is it. That is a nice victory, if I do say so myself. We are, of course, going to be fighting him again, but that was a nice victory, I feel, because we basically lost... We lost about the same units, actually, but that doesn't really matter, because he is going to end up losing the entirety of the battle if he continues this, because we have more units in general. So let's continue charging him then, I suppose. I unfortunately do still have the same amount of HP, so that's a bit of an issue, isn't it? That is a bit of an issue. So let's see if we can... Yeah, you know what I'm going to do? I'm literally just going to wait until the enemies arrive at our location, because I want to be a bit closer to our reinforcement zone and not closer to theirs. Okay, so I've gotten tired of waiting. I've gotten tired of waiting for King Graveth to decide to do whatever he wants to do, as that fellow slides across the ground right there, and we're just going to charge him. We've got enough cavalry here to make that a pretty reasonable tactical decision, and so we're just going to go straight on in here and try and eliminate as many of them as we can. And we are very close to their reinforcement zone, by the way, so this is exactly what I did not want to do, but it's kind of been forced upon me, because he did not move an inch. He didn't move at all. So yeah, I've decided to do this, and well, if it ends up in my demise, then so be it. But I think we should be fine as long as I'm able to keep my shield up against their crossbowmen. And yeah, you can see here that we're doing a pretty reasonable job. We're receiving reinforcements now. Maybe we want to tell our forces to actually retreat now. That might make sense, because our forces are very, very far away, and we're going to need to retreat in some way or another. So let's at least retreat our archers. If our infantry cannot get out there in time, then that's just how it has to be. But I really don't want to be fighting in the enemy's territory, basically. That would not be a very good idea. So let me see if I can eliminate this fellow, because he's being a bit overzealous himself. There we go, that's what you get. Saranid traitor, because technically we're supposed to be playing as the Saranids, so yeah. Anyway, I now have a whole bunch of reinforcements, and we're going to come over the hill like a swarm of angry bees and sting the face of our enemy. Yes, that's great, isn't it? That's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's see if I can actually take out a couple more of these crossbowmen, because they're being kind of annoying, aren't they? Oh, I almost got killed. I actually narrowly avoided death right there. Narrowly avoided death. Now, if I was playing, as I say, with the battle continuation camera, I would be so much more aggressive right now, but as I'm not, I'm being a little bit more commander-ish, and all the men are just like, "Commander, what are you doing?" And I'm just like, I'm just staying back here. I'm just staying back here, Ted, or whatever your name is. And yes, unfortunately, I'm not able to really do too much at the moment, but we are against overwhelming odds. And then he's just like, okay. Just like, okay, yeah, fine. I don't really understand what you're saying, but okay, yeah. Exactly, that's the way to go. Alright, so we are receiving more reinforcements now as well, and we have eliminated many more of them than we have lost, so I suppose that's good. I mean, that's usually how you win in a battle, isn't it? Okay, let's try and not get taken out here. Yeah, come on now. Okay, that is... Whoa, that was very, very close right there. I think I almost got killed by that guy wielding his sword. But thankfully, not this day. Not this day. Thank you. Okay, come on. Yes, take out that Roddock Sergeant as well. I've had enough of those Roddock Sergeants. I'm taking my aggression out on these Sergeants on the fields of battle where I can actually get to them. Because, let's face it, in Grunwalder Castle, that extremely small bottleneck, oh, it is awful. It is absolutely terrible. So, yeah, that is something, yes, I think it's probably something auto-resolve would actually do a better job of dealing with, so I'm probably going to try and do that if I can. If we do get back in there at some point, then, yeah, an auto-resolve is probably going to take care of it almost instantly, and we're probably going to lose the same amount of units, let's face it, so it's probably a better idea to go with that. Just going to help this guy out a little bit, Swadian Man-at-Arms, there you go. He's actually one of mine, isn't he? Is he one of mine? I actually don't know. No, he's not one of mine. They just have the same, what is it now, icon background. They say purple background. Anyway, there you go. We actually eliminated them, and our allies lost 93. We took out 127, and I lost 16, but actually not losing them at all, because we have such a wonderful surgery skill. Ah, okay, well, speaking of auto-resolve, I currently do not have enough HP to actually participate here, so it seems like we are going to have to tell our forces to charge in. Let's just take a quick look and see. Yep, we are actually winning this. We are winning the auto-resolve battle, so let us continue. Yes, we're unable to win. Yes, I know that. Wait a minute. My casualties? What about allied casualties? Are my allies actually not going in right now? Because if my allies aren't going in, then I don't really want to send my forces in to fight. Okay, there we go. Your men fought bravely and defeated the enemy. There we go. Fantastic. And we can also take him prisoner. Isn't that fantastic? Oh yeah, that is what we want to have. Alright, so I am actually not going to be taking any prisoners. Not going to be taking any of the captured enemies prisoner here because, well, you can currently see my money situation. We almost have 1,000,000 dinars, so we are not going to be needing any of them to supplement our income, and we're not going to be taking any loot either. But what we are going to be doing is restoring ourselves and then heading back into Grunwalder Castle, but we'll do that in the next episode, and then we'll head on to a different faction, hopefully the Nords, maybe something like that. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.